Do you not think that there's something interesting about guys that are in their, whatever, 40s and 50s who haven't dated in decades sometimes, giving dating advice to young guys who are now living in a world which is completely different to the one that they found their partner in? So think about now the fact that most boomers would get eaten a fucking live in the dating market. They look at Tinder or Bumble or Hinge or fucking OnlyFans, and they think that they would be able to step onto the field of play and that they would be some sort of winning soldier in this war. Bro, you would be hit by a fucking sniper that you didn't even know was on the field. You have no idea what it's like to try and date in this kind of a market at the moment. And yet there seems to be a big community of people that want to follow guys who haven't dated and who are armchair philosophizers. Do you know what it's like? It's like your drunken uncle that sits in his armchair with 5 cans, watching the best sporting stars on the planet try and play a particular game, screaming at them, telling them what they should be doing. That's kind of how it from the outside looking in, again, I don't know. I might be wrong. You know,
no, you're 100% right. And it's funny you say that. I think a lot of people are going to think I almost told you to say that, because that's literally the argument I always make. The argument I always say is like, listen, Rollo was out of the dating game since before the internet was even a thing. Like, think about that. Before the internet was like, internet has been around since like 70s and 80s, but it wasn't a thing until the mid to late 90s. He was out of the dating game by then. Like, let's just think about that. How much has it changed since the internet? I'm not even talking about Tinder. The internet itself came on the scene. Like, it's a totally different world now. So yes, that is so true. Like, you are at that point, you're not. It's like, would you trust a doctor from like let's take a good doctor from the medieval era to give you medicine advice? I'm sure he was a good doctor by those standards. Maybe not. But like, there's been a lot of changes in medicine since then. We have antiseptics now, and
the problem as well is the fact that all of this, the only stress tests that these ideas are getting are from the armchair. Nothing's ever being tested on the field of play, not properly. And the times that they do get tested on the field of play, let's say that you're a fan of whatever creator, this particular author or this particular Redpill guy, you go out and you try and do these things. You're already biased because you're exposed to their particular piece of work. So then when you feed it back up to the creator, they have a disproportionate selection bias for the sort of people that are talking to them about the effects that their work has given them. You're never seeing the people who don't listen to you that try your ideas. Well, because they don't listen to you, so they don't know that the fucking ideas exist. But yeah, man, I find that absolutely fascinating. That there are still within the manosphere, meninism space, there are these guys who, from the outside looking in, as someone who's not like under the spell or whatever and doesn't kind of understand the dynamic of what's going on, it surprises me that some of these individuals have managed to get themselves to the position that they're in. I mean, the dude. Who's the real dorky one out of Fresh and Fit?
Fresh.
Right. Okay. I mean, the video that guy did where he tells that story about the basketball dude that comes up to him in Miami, like, I just can't imagine that people, if this guy was in a room, in a pub, sat around a table, I just don't think he would be the one that anyone was listening to. No one would care. No one would care what the guy has to say. His delivery's not fantastic. I don't think that he has very many stories. And it would appear based on that story that he's a liar that's trying to front what he's doing. There seems to be some weird stories around the fact that girls are kind of encouraged to sleep with them if they want to go on the podcast. So there's this sort of weird transactional relationship thing going on. And man, this is from like 4 weeks of being delivered it by the algorithm. And I fucking know this. And I'm 5,000 miles away, right?
Yeah.
I can kind of get an impression of what's going on. So it really does. Part of it's impressive because you go, if you're a guy who's got no game and you've still managed to get yourself to the front of a movement where people look up to you, fair play, man. But then, I spend a little bit of time in somewhere like Austin, right, with people that are genuine high value males. Aubrey Marcus, guy that just sold On It for like hundreds of millions of dollars to Unilever, polyamorous for years, now happily married and looking to start a family. Like, that's a guy who is genuinely terrifyingly alpha. And then you compare them with some of the people that have taken these alpha roles or whatever head of red pill roles on the internet. It doesn't impress me, right? It doesn't make me, I'm happy to admire men fucking all over. Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, even someone like a Ben Shapiro for the way that he's able to deliver and his speed of thought and his debating ability. I look up to men all the time, but I don't want to be fresh.